So happy Easter, happy Easter. Here we are. This is coronavirus proof. Got to make sure you got your stuff on. So first up we have Mr. Easter Bunny. So it's only a couple of days away. Happy Good Friday. Tonight we have an awesome show that's happening, and I really hope you can hear me because I can't fit the headphones on when I'm actually online. We'll have the helmet on because it really, really hurts. But today we have some awesome people, very, very talented people coming right up. And first up we have Mr. Todd Byrnes. Here we go, Todd. Welcome to the show, Todd. How are you, sir?
I'm great. How are you guys?
So you got your coronavirus-proof suit on as well, mate?
Absolutely. No coronavirus is getting past dibbles.
Maybe we should see what happens up in the Whit Sundays and see what's going on up there, eh? Mr. Aaron Saxon, what do you got going on? Oh, my God. You're actually steaming up in there, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to lose some weight at the moment.
All right. Very good. Good to see you, sir. And we have the very talented Mr. West, who's actually joining us from a recording session in his car. So this is good. So here we go. Westy.
Hey, Doug. How are you, mate?
Great to see you, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Hi,
and we have live comments. Happy Good Friday, so they will be popping up on like this. So probably you all being awesome musos, and every time I'm yelling, I'm hearing my own reverb in my own helmet, so I might have to change that very shortly. So obviously the virus has affected the music industry quite somewhat. So if we go around at a round table, maybe if Westy, you want to go first about how this has impacted your livelihood and, you know, converting into dollars and maybe what's going on now.
I got zero gigs, but that's everyone's got zero gigs.
Right.
Even Elton John's zero gigs. So we're all in the same boat.
Yep. And how many gigs did you have cancelled, Westy?
Oh, the Diaries. Oh, I had gigs probably through till September or something.
Yep. There we
All
go.
got canned.
Okay. And as are on the Whit Sundays, how did this impact your gigs?
Well, when I first caught the virus, it sort of got me coughing a lot, so I couldn't really sing and stuff. But, you know, I'm over it now, and there's no more gigs. So, but yeah, seriously, this little town has shut down. All the venues obviously closed, but based on tourism, there's nobody here at all. Even if town opened back up tomorrow, there'd still be nobody here.
Wow.
Yeah. And Todd, can you back off the delay a bit?
What?
Okay, I've got to put my headphones in.
You tell me what, man.
That's Scott. What?
Scotty loves delay.
Okay, thank you. I'll sort that out, Scotty. And we might just put Toddy up here while I sort out my headset. Here we go. What's going on with you, Todd?
I when it all sort of went down, I just come off doing Mamma Mia, and right back on the rock time on the Monday, and the Tuesday, Wednesday, I'd lost about 48 gigs, so that was boom.
You can't get any honey. You get any honey for the family, mate?
Well, I can now. Uncle Frankie's helped me out. I'm doing a bit of painting.
Oh, cool. Woo!
So, also after this, so what is everyone doing for Plan B? How's anyone making any money now, being a musician out of work? Maybe Westy, do you want to go first?
Well, I'm hoping I can get some government money, mate. Hopefully I qualify.
Has anybody actually received any of the government money yet?
No, not that I'm aware of, but we'll see what happens.
I go like this. I go, where's the money?
Is it fixed now, Scotty? Hopefully I've fixed it.
It looks like it is.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I had no headphones in. So what about yourself, Azza? What are you doing for income?
Well, I sell a little bit of drugs and just to the local community.
Oh my God.
I'm joking. Oh God!
Oh, my mum is watching. My mum is watching.
Prostitution? I don't know. I'll take it anything. I'll do a bit of gardening, some mechanic work, light mechanic work. You know,
All right.
I'm good with screws and stuff. But yeah,
Thanks, Scotty.
no, I mean, obviously, I'm going to use this time. Well, in all seriousness, this is kind of a nice window of time where we don't have to do gigs. So if you're productive, I'm just getting right into it. I've had some studio gear for a few months, so I haven't really had anything set up since I was living in New Zealand since 2006. So I'm going to get a body of work recorded again and just collaborate. I've already collaborated with a few people over the country and in New Zealand. Got some other tracks coming from other countries and just going to hook in and make a body of work.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what about yourself, Todd? What are you doing for money?
Yeah, I'm doing a bit of painting. I'm not getting much work as a bear.
You can't fit into small places, really, can you, Todd?
No, I can't do that whole meter and a half apart because my head's too big.
Your head's a meter.
Yeah. My ears
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So,
mate, I'm just doing a bit of part-time work with a buddy and spending good quality time at home with my family, to be honest. So it's I've enjoyed that part of it, actually, being at home, being a dad, being a husband again. So
just getting a bit hot, guys. I'm just going to take this off for a sec.
You're telling me. Yeah.
Boo!
Calm down, Westy. This is ridiculous. I just don't want to look ridiculous, you know.
Too late. So Westy,
Yeah, mate.
what with the recording that you've been working on today? Do you want to maybe shed some light on there? No pun intended.
Banged out some bass parts today.
Yep.
Spent the day doing bass parts. So
what kind of genre would it be that you were actually doing?
kind of soul R&B stuff.
Yeah,
It's original things I've been chipping away at since everyone's been doing nothing.
Yep, I understand.
so there's a good opportunity for you too, West, to get all your bits done.
Yeah, what I should be doing is practicing.
Yeah.
And what would you actually practice if you got in this downtime? Practicing singing, because you're an amazing singer as well. So-
Time. I'm goofing around with time stuff.
Look at you.
Whoa!
Change time.
Boo!
Hey, sorry, just had to check my stocks. You're looking good. And I've been trying to.
Hey, what's with your hair?
Yeah, I've been trying to stay healthy. Basically just doing my fitness and shit. Just really just keeping things on a level up here. Yeah.
James Bond. See that? James Bond just joined.
James
Yes.
Bond. Who was that? Harbs. How are you, Harbs?
So I might have to take this off too. This is actually roasting here, but so when do you expect the record to be finished, Westy?
Probably sooner than later, man. I'm churning through it, so I reckon I'll finish tracking in the next couple of weeks and then mix it. It'll take me a couple of weeks to mix, then send it off to mastering.
So with your actual mixing and mastering, do you do any of that yourself, or do you outsource all that?
I'll mix it myself, then I'll send it off to Jim Kelly to master.
Oh right, yeah, Jim Kelly, yeah, guitar player.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of his studio. It's a really cool name.
Tone Ranger.
That's it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Fantastic. Is Jim Kelly actually playing on the record? Do you have anyone else playing on your record that you're doing?
I'm doing everything.
Oh, sensational, man.
Everything. So yeah, it's coming up pretty cool actually. It should be fun.
Yeah, all right, cool. And Aaron Saxon, you're doing recording as well. Where are you recording?
Just over there at the at my
The lounge room.
yeah, a few steps away. But I got a little kit set up. I got a little cocktail kit, little 16 floor tom thing with a kick pedal on it, and just 2 mics on the kit, and just layering it all up, and a collaborating with a couple of dudes, Will Sargison in New Zealand, Michael Caruana in Melbourne, Pete Mitchell in Melbourne for the first track. And then, Storff, have you got access to multi-track stuff?
Yeah, mate.
I mean, basically, this is the time for all musicians who have their home studios to send tracks to each other and collaborate and make some songs, you know?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's kind of how I'm approaching it.
Yeah, and with the recording, you said with the cocktail kit, are you going to like send it to Todd to track other drums over it, or?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No.
I'm
very good.
I'm setting up at Johnny's next Saturday.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, no, I mean, of course, not certain songs, absolutely. This first song I'm doing is really simple, and it's a song for my mom. I'm not going to tell you what it is because this is a surprise for her. But
that's great.
Yeah, basically, Burnsy, you send me a bunch of grooves, just loop them up in 16 or 32 bar passages, some fills, some starts, stops, whatever, and we'll make a song. And we can just go back and forth. So that's kind of how I'm sort of approaching it and staying connected to other musicians.
Yeah, I think this, as you said, about remaining relevant, because we can't, if we don't do anything, we're going to lose the art, right? Lose the knack for it. And what about yourself, Todd?
Mate, I haven't done any playing. I've done nothing from a playing or musical aspect.
Oh, there's a question.
The whole lot went down, but I'm really missing it. I'm missing going to a gig.
Yeah, you're missing going to a gig. And we just got a question there for Aaron Saxon. That's for you. How are you guys collaborating with other musos?
Well, basically, I mean, this first track that I've done, I sort of just demoed up the actual arrangement of the song, and then just flicked an MP3 over to somebody, so they can play what they like on it, and then send me their WAV file, and I'll import it, and then arrange it into the tune. So that's the easiest way to do it. My buddy Chris Hansen in LA, if you're listening out there, Chris, he's sending me some tracks from his studio as well.
Great.
A couple other guys I've just connected with recently that I don't even know. So it's basically just obviously via the internet, and you send people a basic version of the song, and they can then do their bits on it, and then you can keep one little tiny lick out of it.
Fair enough. And what about yourself, Todd? Have you worked on any remote recording projects before?
No, absolutely zero.
Now's your chance, buddy.
So it's all very new for me.
Okay, fair enough. And what about Westy? Have you done any of that? Worked on a remote recording?
Yeah. Like Saxon said, just through the internet, you can just email stuff backwards and forwards.
Hey, Phil. Do you use Dropbox per se? Or?
All sorts of whatever the other person's using. I've used all sorts of bits and pieces.
Okay, cool. And what about with the ideas? Do you, before you send it to someone, do you put on a scratch track drum, a bass and guitar and melody line, or do you just send a guitar and vocal? How fluffed out is the idea first before you present it to someone to put their ideas on?
Me, Doug?
Yes, please. Sorry, I should have made that clear. Sorry.
Yeah, mate,
yes.
Like Aaron said, usually I have a whole form. I work out the form of the tune, and I play it all in on keyboard. So I'll play the bass part in on keyboard, the melody, the chords, and the whole skeleton's there, and then I just go back and re-record it. So I'll re-record the bass part, guitar parts, and all the do.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And with sorting out melody, is the melody sort of written before you track the song, or you're actually still massaging it into place by the time you do it?
No, mostly it's fairly set.
Okay, cool. The short answer, mostly fairly set.
None of Westy's guests are allowed to elaborate at all, are they, Westy? Just like fucking play your parts. That's it.
Yeah, well, I just do everything myself at the moment. So
that's sensational, man. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to hearing.
Aaron West, how many projects or how many albums have you got? I know when we caught up last time, you had like a couple of Stevie Wonder albums on and a couple of original stuff.
Yeah. Too many, man. There's 22 tracks, Stevie Wonder tunes. It's like 80% finished.
Actual studio recordings.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
What else is like a West?
Come with all the visual as well, Westy?
No, that was just a one-off gig.
Oh, okay.
That's the live stuff, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
No, there's a whole studio album that's mostly finished. Just waiting on singers, mate. Polynesian.
Hey, they can't be at the pub anymore.
That's right.
Still waiting on those fellas.
Yeah.
Has anyone used Compos or any other sites for music collaboration? That's a question.
I haven't heard of it.
No. What is that?
You say compost?
Yeah, I got compost out there.
I got that
No,
shit
I-
going on. Yeah, look at that.
So
Love it.
here you go. What is the general cost for someone to master projects? Maybe that's over to Westy. That
Good
for you?
question. Good question. I'm trying to think. The last project I had mastered was Mates Rates, and it was I'm guessing it would have been about $60 a track, maybe.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And maybe connected to that, do you want to maybe explain the importance of mastering a record? Please?
Yeah, the importance for me is a fresh set of ears. If I'm mixing it myself, you need someone that hasn't heard the tracks and steps in with fresh ears to tell you there's too much high end or too much bass, pull that out or whatever. So that's why I love having someone.
Yeah,
Someone
that's great. That's good, Westy.
Or
Whatman wants you to sing something now, if you can.
Hey, you know what I've had in my head is the Humphrey Bear song.
Okay.
Bring
Did
back
you get
stuff
Todd?
there.
You know that song, Humphrey Bear?
Oh, I used to. I can't remember it right now.
I won't say. I'll sing it. What?
Is that a bebop tune?
No,
Bebop tune. Okay,
You
so
know it. Don't lie.
yes, I probably do. I do. So, with all of you being amazing musicians, except Todd's off the air now, he can't hear me. Yes, he can. So maybe if we go around, maybe what are your early musical influences? And I'm not just talking a record. I'm talking about a real person. So maybe it was a music teacher, or you looked up to another muso in the industry. So Todd, do you want to go first?
This will actually be quite funny. One of the biggest influences for me was a fellow called John White and Ian Beddoes.
Is that one guy?
They were doing a duo. How weird is that?
Hyphenated.
They were doing a duo. I think it used to be called Paul Sharrett's Music Hall. I think it was in Surface in Cavalab. And I was like, wow, look at those guys. I was probably 10.
Okay.
Yeah. So they would. There you go. Those two fellas.
Okay, cool. And what about Azza? What's your real person influences that made you want to play better as a whippersnapper?
Would have been, yeah. I mean, I have a lot of memories about just getting excited about music in general. I think one of the first times I got excited was Kevin Schilling snuck me into a gig at Fisherman's Wharf, and I sat beside his drum kit when I was 15.
He's a great player, Mr. Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah, and watched him do a set with his band, and I was just like, wow, just look at all these hot chicks. No, I didn't think that. I was just like, wow. No, but
my God.
I just sort of got captivated by the whole experience, really. Like just, and music was always something that I was interested in. But at that point, at 15, I was sort of just really getting motivated to practice and do some cool things. And the other experience I had was I had an opportunity to run a venue in Surface called Voodoo Blues, and that was where I met Tom Hanlon, Damien Barnard, Eva Brecken, and then the likes of Kevy Keeper and Lee Sear and Peter Grant and a whole bunch of Darren Wong. But that was a real step up for me too. That was something new in the way of jazz and fusion, and so that was a really cool inspiration as well. Time.
Excellent. And Westy, what about yourself? Real person influence?
Real peoples.
Yes.
The old man played a bit of guitar, so that's how I started.
Okay.
So
Does he still play, Aaron?
nah, mate, he nearly cut his fingers off with an angle grinder on the farm, and he kind of
Oh.
didn't really play after that.
Oh.
But
Sorry.
also Gordon Matheson, great guitar teacher, and then the
Yep.
other crew, I reckon, Stoiff,
Yeah.
Aaron Saxon, James Barnard, Max Stowers. At I would have been about 16, I reckon, when I met Stoiff. Was our neighbour
Yeah.
next door,
Oh. Oh.
and
Wow.
he used to sneak me into. He was involved in running like the Alan Holdsworth gig and Mike Stern gig,
Oh yeah.
and all
I
these
remember.
really cool international
Wow.
stuff. So I was underage; I couldn't get in. So Stoiff would get me in to check out this cool stuff, and it was that was kind of an it's a really impressionable age when you're 16 and you're looking to soak stuff up. So
Yeah.
I was stealing everything I could from those guys.
Yeah. Stop it.
Aaron, I remember the first night I met you was I think it was the first night I met you at the Purple Haze Club
Yeah.
in Devon Island.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh,
there
wow.
doing a gig with Max Stowers. Was it Joe Dell on the kit?
Yeah, it's Joe Dell.
And
He's
I think
good.
Wayne was before Max.
yeah. But I think it was Max that night. And you came in and it was a jam open mic sort of thing. And I remember I think I was playing and you were like, Can I jam, mate? Can I jam? And I was like, yeah, you can jam. And you're like, I'm not shit, mate. I'm not shit. I'm like, mate,
Yeah,
calm down, all right?
that is a true story.
Turns
All
out
right.
You're not shit at all, Westy. You're actually far from it.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. Amazing. Well, I think for me, being a real person, I lived across the road. Do you guys know in the jazz circle, Mr. Phil Wright? He's passed away now. I don't know if you guys might know him, but anyway, he invited jazz guitar. He played with Clive Moorhead from the Con and all that kind of.
Yeah, no, I knew him as a bass player. He was from up north.
Yeah, Rockhampton. Yeah. So he was.
Joe Dell, I think it was playing drums.
Oh
He knew-
wow.
Together at Yeppoon sort of area.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he was my neighbour when I was very impressionable at 14. Yeah, well, just in high school. And anyway, he had a good friend called, I don't know if you know, Dave Brubeck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a bit of a jazz legend. And
Good friend to have.
yeah, so they would come over across the road and knock on the garage door and say, hey, tune your guitar. You know, I was like, I don't know who these guys are. But anyway, yeah, that was my induction of just being exposed to dudes with super chops, you know, so.
Were you trying to jam along with them, but they were in 5/4, and you were like, "What the fuck's going on?" It was just like,
That still hasn't stopped, man. I love odd time signatures, as you know. So, moving on. So we've done the influences, and what do you guys want to do with the music industry? Hopefully, and when it comes back, what do you see? Actually, sorry, we won't ask that question now. Maybe right now we haven't done. Todd, what do you do right now in the music industry?
What do I do in the music industry? I'm still a player full time. Actually, back playing a lot more these days than what I have been in the past years. So when the music industry comes back to normal,
Ralph?
I'll be hopefully back into doing some more shows. I've been doing a lot of theatre shows this year and then last year, which has been great.
Any big? Can you name drop anything?
I'd really like to start a new thonk project.
Yes.
we need a bass player.
Since the three of us are on air, Westy.
It sounds like a lot of work.
He said that. I already asked him about that. Yeah, he said the same thing.
Sounds like a lot of work. Well,
Sounds like learning a lot of songs.
Let's let Westy finish his 8 albums before we get him involved.
you finish your 8 albums, Westy, and then you can.
Yeah, and what about? Do you want to maybe briefly mention the other things that we sort of spoke about off air?
Obviously these two guys. I think most of the people know that I've got a platform out there, Hubbed It. So that's obviously come to a great grinding halt as well at this point in time. But
what does it do?
Well, it's the LinkedIn for the entertainment industry. And we've got, we were just about to execute a whole bunch of venues before this like actually coming into the beginning of March, and those clients are still there. So, and that's the AVC group, which really, really pro live music, So they're a little bit different to the other larger groups that are out there, such as your ALHs, who are more gaming driven.
Okay.
AVC is more live music driven. So they're just on the verge of 200 venues now. They just bought the SB in Melbourne too, Saxon.
Wow.
Yeah.
ALA.
So,
Yeah, well.
no, AVC was Venue Co. So they're buying a lot of prestige venues and really pushing the live thing. So that's something that we're really excited that we're going to be able to bring to all of the our Hubdet members and giving the musicians an opportunity. Once we were releasing coming into March, and of course now that's going to be held off until whenever this thing's all over and done with. But being able to give the musicians back their control of their own destiny, I guess, and being able to run their own business in their own way.
And do you want to maybe elaborate the model of information messaging? About how we were talking about different platforms having lots and lots of sources of information.
Well,
just trying to sort it out.
I'm sure we can all relate to it. As I was saying to Doug when we were off air before, one of the problems that that I still have today is that I'll get gigs through an email, I'll get gigs through Messenger, I'll get gigs through text, I'll get gigs through WhatsApp. I mean, all these different communication platforms and apps that are out there that everybody's using. In order to keep on top of your business, you've got to be able to check about 8 different forms of communication. And I don't do that. I'd like to, and what Hubdet's all about is if you've actually got a number or you've got a notification that's on your Hubdet app, it's actually about business. It's about work. You've either got a gig or a gig's been cancelled or it's an update. It's actually something to do with your music business.
Right.
Not to do with, we're on Skype at the moment or, I'm having a beer with Aaron or useless information, as I call it. That's cool. That's cool. I miss all these gigs, and I get dudes that'll ring me and go, Burnsy, can you do that gig? I sent you that message. Where did you send it? I sent it on a Messenger. I don't give a shit about Messenger. I don't check that all the time.
If the pigeon lands on my fence, a little note on it says, if the gig I'm going to fucking take the gig, mate. I'll be down there. I'll be like, right.
Check all the gigs, mate. Check the pigeon.
So, if we throw it over to Westy again, where do you see yourself like in a few years' time then, Westy? You want to be a original artist stepping up off the club scene, or where do you see yourself?
No, I had a bit of a crack, mate, with the original thing, and it's really hard. It's from multiple angles. There's not that many gigs. I was doing quite a bit of festival stuff, but I mean, it doesn't really pay great. Like, I can make a lot more money doing other stuff, other gigs.
Right.
So I'm not too fussed, man. I just want to do what makes me happy, and just recording tunes and
that's the key, Westy.
That is the key.
Yeah, right.
It is, Westy.
Yeah.
Yeah, at some point I'll get back to the States and make use of some friends of mine over there that are great players and do some recording over there. But nothing too crazy, man. I don't have any ideas of being rich and famous or anything.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. And over to you.
Hey, guys, I'm going to shoot off soon, mate.
That's cool, man. I appreciate to interrupting your recording session.
No, not a worry, mate.
And thank you, sir, for engaging. Your actual light show reminds me of Robert Fripp when they did a gig in Japan. They never turned the lights on. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
The UFO.
Yeah, right. Cool. But thank you, sir. Thank you for checking
boys,
in.
Have fun, and I'll catch you guys soon.
Okay, thanks, boys. Westy. See you, man. So, so maybe over to Azza there. At the moment, impossible to make a living in the. I think Scotty's talking about the original scene there.
Any scene at the moment.
So Azza, what do you think, Azza, about what do you see yourself in 5 years' time? What do you think you'll be doing?
Well, hopefully still walking around.
You should tell us where you... Yep, okay. And musically? Original or still playing the club circuit or...
Oh, it's a bit of both, man. I mean, I tour with the Melbourne Ska. We have a couple of different original projects going on, and then bread and butter gigs, which I try to interpret, covers and do my own thing. So I'm just going to keep on, obviously, just doing that. I enjoy it. I enjoy music. I don't. It doesn't feel like a chore. It actually makes me happy, and it's the only thing that I really enjoy. Well, it's one of the things that I really enjoy to do. So I won't stop doing that, and just always striving to be a better player, a better singer, a better writer, which is just the natural progression of the arts, and not to rest on any laurels or that I might think there are or whatever. Just to continue to strive, and I just want to create a body of recorded music. So that's where I'm. Like I was saying before, I haven't really had a home studio set up for a number of years, so I'm quite enjoying this isolation. And,
it's actually exciting, man. It's exciting that you've got this time to do that, because it's going to be pretty massive.
It's like
it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to it.
The amount of time I've kind of realized I've been wasting. I wouldn't call it wasting, but I mean, I would do a lot of gigs in a week. So I would sleep a lot, but to not have my studio gear set up, and just have it sitting there not doing anything until 8 days ago, it's just ludicrous. I'll never let that happen.
Come back to that.
I'll never let that happen again. It's like even if I go back to gigging flat out and touring, that studio is always going to be working now. So
that's right.
It's been financially a crap situation, but artistically and creatively a bit of a blessing, to be honest. It's like it's good. Cool. I mean, I'm trying. I always try and see the positives in situations, and I can't predict what's going to happen in the future and how the music industry is going to bounce back and how the gigs are going to bounce back. I'm a kind of roll with the punches type of guy, and see the best in a situation. But not having to go and do gigs and not having to go and leave the house is so ideal for recording. I love it.
Right. But that's the thing, isn't it? I was chatting to Doug beforehand, and it's and my first 2 weeks of actually not doing anything, I thoroughly enjoyed it, because so much done by not leaving the house.
Because I was just going to say, being an entertainer is that when we're working, is everyone else's downtime. So that's what hospitality and food and beverage.
And everyone thinks that doing a gig so glamorous and easy to do, but if you're driving around and setting up your gear and you're leaving the house, and by the time you get home, it's a full day's work.
Yeah, it's still a 10-hour call. That's right.
So it's it is kind of exhausting. So I spent the first week on the couch too, Bernsey, before I was like, well, I'm over this now. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right. So I guess this is testament to yourselves about not seeing the negative in this situation, that you can always put yourself to work in other aspects, right? Create art differently.
I see it as an opportunity that we can all, reflect and go, right, okay, well, because there's nothing we can do about it. We have to accept it, like it, lump it, whatever. Obviously, the government's trying to come forth and helping everybody, which is, kudos to them. I wouldn't want the PM's job at the moment, but I think it's a forced relax, rethink. Realign yourself.
I heard I heard a very, very good. Is Aaron still there? Oh yeah, cool. Just making sure you weren't frozen like Han Solo. Like cool. There we go. I heard a very, very good point today. It was actually by Robert Kiyosaki. I was actually watching a show called London Real. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. And he said, this stock market crash, because we're facing two crises. I'm not an expert. I'm repeating what I've been told, but with the COVID is one thing, but with the financial crises, is that he said it's the end of the industrial age, which is industrial meaning make, and the beginning of the information age or digital age. So if your business is not, digitally invested, you're going to be left behind. You've got to keep rolling with it. Yeah. So anyway, I was just thinking, this is what we are doing now. We're staying connected digitally, and I think what you're doing I've been tracking here as well. I've actually
Yeah.
set writing some math metal and all this like 16th really complex
Math
genty
metal.
stuff.
Math metal.
Math metal.
What is the square root of?
That's exactly right.
Um,
But yeah, I think spending the time to do that. Yeah, but
Well, I think
Yes.
the next bit of I've always for years I've been toying with the idea of some online tuitional series of videos and stuff like that, and again putting it down to I don't have the time. I'm too busy gigging. I'm too busy doing this, and so this is now a time to create that particular platform where it can be financial for me.
yeah,
And I've got plenty of time to do it, and it's not going to end when the pubs reopen. It's going to be perpetual income or something that I'm going to continue to do. So I'm really seeing this as, even though it's a shitty time with the loss of gigs and the loss of income, it's an exciting time to create something new, which is going to be ongoing past
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah,
And I've got it.
Because it makes you think about being a little bit more self-sufficient, right? Because you're like, whoa, okay, my gigs are gone. That's
Right.
been the thing. Now I've got to do something else. And I think that's the real positive out of it.
Yeah, you got to do something else.
I mean, I'm not seeing anybody on here that's looking stressed.
Well,
I
think
everybody I'm speaking to
if you've got a creative headspace or a
That's for Mella.
positive headspace, artists will probably be loving this time. But if you're a mechanic, why aren't you out there in your garage like building the hottest engine you can make? Or it's how you see it. You can sit down and you can be like, well, this is shit, or you can go, well, what am I going to do today? Like, you can get fit. You can do something that you've been putting off for a long time. And if there is an industry that you're in, do something in that industry at home that you've always wanted to do. So
my wife's had to adapt her whole teaching business to online.
Yeah, we got a point there. There we go.
And I can tell you right now, like, it probably has had 10%. I'd say about 10% not be keen on it.
Hey, Ray.
90% of the kids, and they're all kids, there's no adults involved in this. She teaches children from the age of 4 to the age of, probably 15. They have just taken it to it like fish to water. It's incredible.
Mate, have you seen 4-year-olds use the computer? 4-year-olds are all over that shit, mate. They know how to.
My 3-year-old grandson is all over it. It's ridiculous.
Well, maybe that's because, with this new generation that, entertainment using an iPad to entertain a child, they might have transferring that skills now. Because, I'm actually a music teacher as well. So this whole concept of online, some people are freaked out about it, but distance education is not new. I mean, if you go to university, that's what it is. If you've got a corporate job and you want to, cross-pollinate into a different genre, is that you need to study after hours, online.
And the good thing is, both you guys, when you're traveling a lot with an online tuition thing, right? You can continue your business going wherever you are.
Yeah, wherever. Yeah.
Right. Because you've just got your gap, and you've got your student. You've got this communication thing. So it doesn't matter once you build it up. You've got as a regular income, and you can do those.
That's what I mean. Like, I've got time to hone it, and then it'll just keep going past the lockdowns. And
I also just in between the questions, here we go, guys. I'm just reiterating, if anyone's got any questions here, I'm also broadcasting live to YouTube. Please put them in the scroll feed. These are two awesome, amazing musicians, a drummer and a singing guitarist. Please post the question so we can answer it live. Totally interactive. And so with the Scott Whatman was on here the other day, and he said this. So Scotty, if you're listening, maybe send me a message. It might get you on here. Scott Whatman was saying that, this is a good time to actually look at whatever you're doing, but the business side of it. So maybe, Todd, what can a musician do to help grow their awareness of running a business?
Make sure you have.
On that note, I'm going to go and get another drink. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
that's all right.
I think it's keep your debt to a minimum. What else could they do? Marketing. I mean, I sort of heard you guys having a chat last night, and marketing is such a big thing. And I don't want this to be the Todd Byrnes show talking about his product hub. But
you should.
It is going back to the things that I'm trying to work on in conjunction with all the musicians, and Scott has been involved in my product as well. And it's about giving you guys access to these venues, and where you're having this platform where everything's actually available to you.
Right.
And there's still a bunch of musos out there that don't have great product, don't have great what I call the shop front.
Right. So here we go. Do you have any experience in synchronization? While I'm at home, I have been trying to learn about sync in Australia. Do you know anything about that?
No idea.
Cool.
Wrong dude. Saxon.
Wrong. Saxon I've got him pulled from the feed. He's looking for beer, I believe.
Is he?
He's
got to
drive. Oh, here we go. We got Scotty just timing in here. Scotty, here we go. Here we go, Scotty. There we go.
Hey.
Am I working?
Yeah, you are.
Am I working?
You
Yes.
are working. Stuart.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So I might just pop this question up. So here we go. Scotty might be able to answer this one.
In sync. Oh, there's so many different sync. Are we talking? Oh, you mean sync as in licensing of music, not sync as in recording studio syncing your tape machine to your Pro Tools. Plenty of experiences in syncing tape machines to Pro Tools. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any idea about the? Oh, here we go. Aaron's back. Here we go. Oh my God, he's changed again. Look at him. God.
I'm just all over this.
Yeah. So I'll just put this question up for Azza.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you live in the Whit Sundays, mate. So.
This is how I normally look.
Oh right. Okay. Cool. Can you answer this question, Azza?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any? Because maybe you should also, after you finish this question, maybe name drop who you actually work with in the Melbourne Ska Orchestra. If that's cool.
There's 30 of them.
Yeah, well, you should know 29 of them, mate.
I'm meeting new people on the bandstand every fucking day.
So, do you have any experience in the syncing question? Here we go.
In what? Sorry.
Musical syncing.
What is it? Publishing, as in getting basically songs
Published.
It's a
zero.
It's not one of those things you can give like a 30-second reply to, unfortunately.
There you go, Scotty. There you go, Scotty. In particular, writing, recording. So
yeah, I mean,
I guess
there are a lot of ways to go about it. There are a lot of companies out there that can help you in that way, and they want to sign you up and take your rights and help themselves to your rights.
Right. Yes.
Like I said, it's not one of those 30-second answers. It's a bit of a minefield. There's a lot of ways you can learn about it.
Have you ever heard that Regurgitator song? I sucked a lot of cock to get where I am. I think that's pretty relevant as far as trying to promote your music.
Has nothing to do with thinking, though.
Well,
oh my God!
I've got that sinking feeling. Yeah, okay.
Oh my God! Right. So maybe back to Azza. So name dropping besides song dropping. What about name dropping? Who runs the orchestra?
Mickey Bomber does.
And who's he related to?
He's related to, he's a Nicky Caruana, so he has quite a bit of a musical pedigree family, really. Danielle is, her stage name is Mama Kin. Her and their brother Michael Caruana. Michael's been in quite a few different musical groups without Australia.
Did Bomber play in the JBT?
He did. He was the drummer for about 10 years, I think. So
John Butler Trio?
John Butler's drummer. So he recorded quite a number of the hits, I think.
He was basically, so he did all the recording, but he didn't tour. I think was that correct?
I'm not too sure. I think he has toured with them, but I'm not too sure about that, Scotty. He probably could be.
Because I think they had Terrapai was Richmond was
That's
was
recent,
doing it,
wasn't
wasn't
He's just toured with them.
Yeah,
Like,
no, Nicky was part of the group years and years ago. After that, Michael Barker joined for a number of years.
Yeah, he's a great drummer. Yeah.
Michael Byrnes has a great drummer. Yeah.
Yeah. I just became his Facebook friend today. If anyone wanted to know, that's cool.
Yeah, Barker's a cool dude. He's a cool dude.
Try and get him on the show. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so, anyone else massive you've worked with? Because I remember when I met you, Aaron was in a band back in the day called Cry Wolf, I think, because I was playing the same original scene. I was playing in a
great band. That was a great band.
No, we're ahead of our time. We're ahead of our time.
Deadly band.
I was playing in a band called the Turtleheads back then, and yeah, wow,
Good name.
true story.
Oh, that's one hard day.
No one that I've actually no artist that I've collaborated with, but through the Thonk project, we got to play alongside some of my musical peers and
Yeah.
it was just a dream come true to have that opportunity for a few years doing that. So that was great. That was the Virgil Donati project, Alan Holdsworth. Who else did we do, Burnsy?
Mike Stern, Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets.
Yeah,
That was our
Yeah.
first gig was the Yellow Jackets. That was insane. That was such a
No, it was Vinny Colaiuta, actually. It was Bill Evans and the Soul Insiders.
was too.
Yeah.
yeah. I went to that gig. I went to all those gigs because I'm a Fusion fan. So I went backstage and met Alan Holdsworth actually, and who was the drummer?
He's got 6 fingers, I think.
Well, his hand was like this big, and my hand was like maybe like that. You know, like yeah. It was when I went to shake his hand back in the day when you could shake hands. You know, yeah, he was a monster of a player, and I remember. I mean, actually, he was the reason why I built my recording studio because he had a recording studio called the Red Room back in the day, and he had this massive. I remember reading Guitar Magazine about this wood diffuser. And I asked him, where did you get this wood diffuser for the sound? He goes, I built it myself. And I was like, that's cool. So, yeah, anyway. But I haven't built a wood diffuser, so I don't know why I'm telling you that. Do you have a wood diffuser, Scotty, in your room?
I do. I
He's
have a
got
couple
two.
of them.
Yeah.
And I built them myself
You would have a
with instructions from people who were trying to tell me how to do things. And I, for once, actually listened.
Ask about the jacuzzi masterpiece. Azza, is that you?
That would be me. Hi, Bronwyn. What do you want to know?
So, Broman, part two. We need part two.
No, we've got 5 new tracks that are being worked up now. So,
Did you write them in a jacuzzi?
no, that band name came about. Michael Caruana used to go rollerblading in his Speedos quite a bit. And when
Have you guys met Michael Caruana? To meet this guy.
so when when he would finish that, I'd imagine he'd jump in. He has a jacuzzi at home, and he would cool off. So we were jamming with the drummer Cliff and Michael, and we had some other shitty name, and Cliff's like, no, you have to have this name. We're like, that's a good name. But the music, we've got 5 new tracks coming pretty soon, so that's pretty exciting. But we had a little mishap. Michael unfortunately had a bit of a break and enter situation, and someone stole his laptop a month ago.
Oh, what? Yeah,
So,
wow.
Put us back 6 months of sort of saved up edited stuff.
That's a scary thing for a muso to have happen.
A good lesson now. If anyone's listening, just back your stuff up. Obviously, we did have it backed up. We were 6 months backed up prior, but at least we didn't lose everything.
Wow. Yeah, that's
There's good online technologies these days for backing your stuff up too, so it's accessible from anywhere.
yeah, wow. And what about you, Scott? I know we sort of maybe spoke about this last time that you're on, but can you maybe name drop a few other people you work with?
No.
No. Well, you've worked with a lot of them.
Simple.
I think I'm developing Alzheimer's.
Can't remember if you do.
No, I don't know. I've worked with. I mean, I work with a lot of different people, whether to varying degrees of notoriety, shall we say? I mean,
Yes.
I've done stuff with Burnsy. I've done stuff with.
There you go.
I've never really done a. I've done gigs where Aaron's been on the same gig, but we've never actually really played together as such. I think from But I mean,
No.
and I mean, you know, Doug's popped along to a few things that I've done, and we've had to play together, and that's been fun.
Yeah, awesome.
I mean,
I love
some of the best musicians that I've worked with have been just, I don't mean to use this in a derogatory sense, but just nobodies. And some of the very, very best players that I worked with when I was younger got out of the music industry because they were so disillusioned by it.
Mm.
Interesting.
But because they were incredibly amazing musos, but they were also the type of people that had incredible skills in other areas of their life. And they just actually just went, you know what, I can better myself in this life by going and doing other stuff. Not that they didn't love doing music. I just think they found it too frustrating and it had, you know, it wasn't something that the passion for it, I guess, wasn't necessarily strong enough that they wanted to dedicate their whole life to it. I mean, that's one of the things for me. It's
see, you've done the opposite, hey, Scotty, because your trade was an electrician, wasn't it?
Yeah, I spent 4 years working at a sugar mill and getting an electrical engineering degree and doing all that sort of stuff.
And then
I did that mainly because I did really well at high school. I did well, and I was very clever.
Whatever,
and
man.
I had opportunities. And my parents basically said, you know, it was one of those things. I was to please. To partially please my parents, and I went and got a job.
Yep.
I wanted to go to uni, but I came from a very, very poor background, and that was, you know, not really a very good option. And when I was that age, I was pretty immature, I suppose, and getting a job meant I could still live at home with mum and dad, and then drive off and do my job and study at uni. I get sent off to uni every few months, but had to work 6 days a week in a sugar mill, and somehow tried to fit in playing in a band and music all at the same time. And once I finished that particular time in my life, and I had the qualifications, and it was like, okay, I fulfilled the things that I was
other
doing.
people wanted.
Well, and I didn't. It wasn't like an unpleasant experience. I actually really enjoyed doing that sort of stuff.
Right.
But my passion was playing music, and I wanted to give that a red hot go. So I chucked everything else in and just went, I'm going to be a full-time muso. And I went and played music full-time. And good on you for doing that. Money didn't, when I was that young, money didn't mean anything to me. It was like, as long as I could eat and get around so it was a really, really good time to jump in. If I'd gotten to a point in my life where I was used to making, you know, regular large sums of money, by having a day job, which is not really large sums of money, just basically a constant income stream, it would have been probably impossible for me to give that up and go and spend, and be 100% full-time muso.
Yeah,
because you know, it just would have been. It probably would have been you get accustomed. I know it's you get accustomed to having a certain income stream. It's really hard to give that up.
I think that's a good question, maybe for everybody. Maybe every time I point that way, it's actually that way for Todd. When did you know that you had to follow this passion of the music industry?
When I was 4.
Wow! So you started very early.
So there was never ever going to be a different path for me. No, my teachers at school used to say to me, "Byrnes, what are you actually going to do for a living?" And I said, "I'm going to play music. I'm going to be a drummer. So fuck you."
Yeah, right.
I didn't have any other aspirations but to just play music.
Oh my God, you guys are so straight up. What about Azza? How did you know? How did you know you were going to play music?
Oh. All right, I'll tell the world.
And also too, Happy Easter, mate. Happy Easter.
Nice, Happy Easter. I don't know. It was probably there's a couple stories, but one I will share with you was my brother used to play vinyl when I get home from school. So we're listening to Ian Moss, Bow River solo, and towards the end of that solo, there's that one lick, and you know, I was just like, what the hell? How does that actually happen? So at that point, I'd already been playing guitar for 6 months or so, and yeah, I remember just thinking that's just the coolest thing I've ever heard, you know, and just really enjoying that type of music in general. But knowing that I was on a path to try and learn what that guy could do was very exciting, and something that I wanted to pursue. You know,
for me, besides my crazy neighbours knocking on the garage door, my uncle at the time had loaned me some records. One was Deep Purple's, with the faces on it.
Machine Head.
No, with the faces on it. I'll remember the name in a second. I can't remember. I should know. But anyway, my cat got underneath the cupboard where the records were, and as all cats do, they spewed all over the records. So I was like, oh, God, one's ruined and destroyed. So I had to tell my auntie, because I didn't want to surrender the Deep Purple record. So my influence were listening to Richie Blackmore and just all those, like, riff rock and, blasting, as some of you may have seen me done before. I just love that stuff, so that really got me. That one record, wish I could remember the name of it. I don't know if it's Machine Head, but it's all got the...
Has it got Smoke on the Water on it?
No.
Yeah,
that's
a great album.
Yeah, but anyway, there you go. And maybe we could... what about Scotty? What was your best record in the beginning that made you want to play? Because those who are listening, Scott's an amazing guitar player too, so you're in good hands.
I somewhat learnt how to play by... I think it started out with a bit of an acoustic guitar thing. I was into the Harvest album by Neil Young.
Yep.
I loved that, and then progressed on to learning how to play electric solo stuff by copying Angels licks. Angels and AC/DC.
Really
Brewster.
Like the early Angus stuff, and really, like the great thing about the Angels stuff is his solos are so structured and so well written. They're great little pieces, great little melodies and songs in their own thing.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a point in my life where probably the first 3 or 4 albums I knew every lick and part of every guitar part back to front, because I just sort of played over and over and over and over and over that stuff over and over and over again.
Right. Okay. And that and what was the last?
And women.
I'll say part of my love of doing that stuff was because I'd go and see a couple of local bands play. Like when I was, 15, 16, I used to go down. I grew up in Kingscliff, and so I'd get on the bus in the morning, and I'd have Jeremy Oxley and Peter Oxley and Ricky Bilson was like a next door neighbour. So those guys became the Sunny Boys. They weren't called the Sunny Boys when we were at school together, but so there was a lot of live music there was a lot of actually live music in Kingscliff, and I used to go down to the pub and the beer garden on a Sunday and watch every band, and I love that. That's I think where my passion for live music came from. It was just one of those things, going and watching other people, watching the band, and actually being and the quality of the players back then.
Keep it alive.
There was a pub on every corner, and every pub had a band in it, and they were all fucking great.
Like, pubbing back then, though, wasn't it, Scotty? When we were kids, like fucking, there was so much live music happening. My mum and dad would take me from anywhere, from the Skyline Lounge to the Broadbeach International, down to
in Tweedhead's Coolangatta, between the Protocol and the Patch, there was a dozen venues, and every one of those venues had bands 5 nights a week.
Hey, stop yelling.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
It was.
It's a bit loud,
It's
Scott.
a different world. It's a different world than what we live in now.
But I mean, I can relate to what Scotty's talking about, because as a young guy living on the Gold Coast, you were like, "Yeah, man, this is it."
My sister used to take me to the Skyline Lounge, and I used to watch my sister used to take me to the Skyline Lounge, and we used to watch the New Zealand guys, the Maori fellas,
Polynesian show.
Nookie Walker and Googie Walker, and Rimda Paul. I think those cats. I was like 7 or 8. She'd only take me up there because no one else would go with her, but I was just like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've probably got 2 more questions, and then we'll probably wrap it up. So I just want to ask about rhythm section playing, because you're all being musicians of sorts. So maybe, Todd, if we start with you, about what do you think and your thoughts about playing in a good rhythm section? What do you look for, or maybe tips? So what do you look for, and maybe tips?
One thing.
Yes?
Listen.
What's that?
Just listen.
Active listening. Yep.
Just listen.
Yep.
Listen. If everybody's listening,
What?
yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Right, cool. And
totally
It's hard to hear through the tinnitus.
It's not as easy now, is it?
What's one of the best bass players you've worked with before, Todd?
Oh, you couldn't go past their brother Damien Barnard.
No, Barnard. And we've all, and that's the great thing. All of us have worked with Barnard.
We have a lot.
Yeah.
He
Brought a level of energy. The thing about Damo, I mean, I don't know for you other guys, but he brought a level of energy to that was just that no one else I've ever worked with has brought that level of energy.
No.
Yeah. And what do you? Sorry, we'll just let Todd finish first. Sorry, Scotty. Yeah.
No,
sorry,
but I did agree with Scotty. Absolutely. Yeah, the level of energy and pocket.
Yeah.
He actually taught me how to sit back, and he actually taught me how to push hard. So he had it all in his little toolbox, that fellow. So he was responsible for me really learning how to sit and where that pocket was and what groove was about.
Yeah. Because I think we've all actually done a gig with him, right? Because he actually played in my covers band a couple of gigs as well. And we used to do, 15-minute guitar solos, and I thought it was amazing. But, he was the only one that would get it, well, nothing like a good guitar solo. But, absolutely. It always sounded fresh. It never sounded boring, like he didn't keep repeating himself.
I think to finish off on that, I think to really say it, from a rhythm section point of view, is when you're a freelance player, I play with probably 20 different outfits right across the whole year, where I'll do a bunch of shows where I've got a click. I'll go and do stuff with the Oz Horns where, and I'm playing with different players all the time.
Right.
I struggle when I get into a band when if you play to a click, well, then that guy there, he's the boss, right? That's where everybody needs to go. But if you don't have a click, there seems to be a player in the band that is everybody going to go to him? Are we all going to listen to each other, or is there going to be this tug of war? And I tend to, especially from a freelance, if I'm stunting a gig where I've been called in the last minute and I turn up and cool, don't know the rep, but it'd be hard not to know a rep with the cover band after having so many tunes in your head. But it's like I'm the guest, so I'm being invited to the band, so it's time for me to actually not be heard.
Oh wow!
As if I can actually blend in so much that they don't even know that the different drummers actually there. That's for me to be depping and playing.
Yeah.
But I find that I'll be this guy and I'll either go with the bass player or I have to go with the guitarist, because these two guys are actually not even fucking listening to each other.
Right.
And I'm sort of going, this is weird, because this is not my normal band.
Yeah, Toddy is a beast there, yeah.
I've been in there many a time. Many a time I've been in this situation where people are not actually listening to each other as a unit. And that's a unit.
Yep. So how does your playing style simplify to, get everyone the whole time? Or do you...
Well, mate, if I'm stunting a gig, the very first thing I do is simplify everything. It's block and tackle, eyes open, ears open.
Yep.
Yeah, keep it fucking simple, stupid. Absolutely. Try and lock in. It's like, you guys do what you normally do, and I'll be trying to catch everything that you've got, right? Just give me some guidance. But I think I find when with the last show that I did, it was quite interesting. I don't think a lot of the players were used to a click. That was a real interesting situation where you've got a large orchestra all listening to a click.
Wow. What shows were they?
Two different opinions where the click is actually landing.
How does that happen?
That make it very hard for drummer.
Yeah. What shows were you on? What shows did you do?
I just finished doing Mamma Mia until Corona come and spoiled everything.
What shows have you done before in the theatre?
Wicked. Oh,
wow.
God. The Sound of Music. What else do you want? The Little Mermaid.
Excellent. Cool. It sounds a bit fishy, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've done a bunch of stuff.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And what about you, Azza? What's your version of a rhythm section? What do you do differently to tie it together, and what do you listen for?
Definitely listening, like Todd said. I think we're talking about being in the Melbourne Ska Orchestra with so many players on stage, it's pretty important to try and make the rhythm section nice and tight. And there's so many revolving chairs in that band, whereas every gig is a very much a new experience with trying to do that. So my only job in the band is the upbeat skank thing.
Yep.
So that's in between all the downbeats, and if if the down guys aren't connecting, and then the up guys trying to fill the gaps, and there's sometimes there's a real struggle, and certain stages and stuff. But it's definitely just listening, and if everyone's got a good clock, a nice internal solid pulse, and no one's rushing, which is something you have to learn over time. Like I'm happy with my rhythm now, but there was times where I thought, I used to push a lot and never really thought about it. So, having your own sense of where it is makes the whole experience a lot easier. Like Byrnesy, when we jumped in and did that gig at Melbourne, Melbourne recently, with Pat Farrell and the horn player Jeff. But again, two quality players jumped in with us, and it was easy because everyone had a nice sense of the clock. So, I think it's important to just listen, let some space happen straight away. Don't think that you need to create the rhythms and make it all happen around what you're doing. It definitely has to be part of a group. You're trying to create a whole groove using everybody in the group rather than just as my groove and everyone get on board sort of thing. So it's definitely a collaborative thing that you need to listen to.
It's a totally different beast when you're playing in a band with a click versus no click, because no click means, right, this thing's going to breathe and it's going to move, right? So that's why it's really important that you listen to each other. It doesn't matter if you're going to slow down a bit or you're going to speed up. Naturally, it's going to do that, as long as you do it together.
Yep. It says Toddy is a beast. And so
that was Thonk, right? That was what Thonk did. We didn't have any click tracks.
Yeah.
Right.
And I tell you what, if you put us
there we
in
go.
click, you'd probably go, hey, boys,
Jane.
what's going on there? But I've got to thank Scott Whatman for actually teaching me to play with the click, because it was the Accidents was the very first gig that I'd actually ever had to stunt and do with this fucking thing in my ear. It's like,
Man, if you're not used to it, when you're not used to it, it's a freak. It can freak. Some people cope with it really well, and some people freak right out. And you coped with it really, really well.
It was learning, man. For the first 12 months, I tell you, it was different. It was really, really different.
Well,
It's very different. It is very, very different.
And I just want to maybe ask. Sorry, you go. I was just going to ask Scotty, because you're running a recording studio and you would have experience with coaching lots of rhythm sections and putting them together to be tight. What do you listen for being an engineer, being on the outside?
Oh, man.
Everything.
That's a...
Well, what tips?
It's generally one of those things. If I'm working with people I've never worked with before, and I'm just working from a recording point of view, the biggest thing with coming to a studio is pre-production. It's actually is getting a chance to see and work with the people before they actually get to the studio, so you can actually see if there are going to be issues. Because once you're in the studio, like your studio time is precious, and the basis for most recordings the basis for almost most bands is bass and drums. Yeah. And particularly the drum. Like, unfortunately, it's one of those things. I don't know. Unfortunate for me, the drummer is the most crucial element in any band. If you've got a great drummer who's got and it doesn't. I'm not talking about a guy who has to have amazing chops or anything like that. No. But if a guy's got a great sense of groove and feel and time, then it makes so the foundation strong. Everything else that goes with that is then just icing on the cake. So, like I say, in a studio sense, it's great if someone's really good with working with a click, and a click thing doesn't necessarily mean that the groove and the feel goes out the window. You know,
Yeah.
and recording in a recording situation, someone working with a click track is an awesome thing from the point of view of being able to come back and reproduce stuff and then overdub and then add, like, it's a great tool in a recording situation, but it's not the be all and end all. But if you've got someone who, and like I say, if you've got a great drummer who can work with a click, it doesn't necessarily mean that kills the groove or the feel. It can do if you're not coping with the click very well.
If you're not coping with it, it can absolutely destroy it.
Yeah. So do you have any tips like maybe Todd, you might have some ideas too? Is like, I know with recording in my studio and working with different drummers, ideas like doubling the click. I know the project I'm working on now, I've got like the bass drums doing like 30-second roll things. And it sounds hardcore because it is, but or subbing in a instead of using the click, doubling it, but maybe getting like a percussion loop to, you know, initiate.
I mean, only since, you know, like I said, you know, how much to Scotty, that was really the very first live gig that I'd ever done with the click. And it assisted me so much going into a recording situation with going into doing lots of sessions. And a great buddy of mine and a teacher who used to teach me for ages was Darren Ferrugia, and he'd always say to me, you need to bury the click. If you can't hear the click, then you're fucking all over it, brother. If you can hear it, means you're either side of it. So if you can't hear it, that's when you know you're fucking right on the pocket. And that's where playing with the click doesn't necessarily mean you're not swinging it.
Right.
You can still swing it, you can groove it, there's still a great pocket there. You've just got to know where you need to put that click.
And then maybe last question, if we just go around, oh no, you go first.
Oh no, I'm just saying I didn't get my chargers all the way in my bedroom. That's quite a way away. That's over there, actually.
Okay. Ahoy there.
But I've got a few % left, so yeah, one more question, then I'm going to have to sign off.
Sweet. Okay. So
Dinner's on the table.
Yeah, cool. Be really quick. So what about just some advice for up and comers? You know, so maybe Aaron, if you want to go first, what advice do you have for anyone who's up and coming? What can we do to make an ensemble a better thing?
Yeah, ensemble wise, make sure everyone in the band uses hand sanitizer and some face masks immediately.
Learn how to play.
If you have any, yeah, you can. I'm actually going to install a 57 into this so I can, you know, I can record and feel safe. Yeah, so you know.
Good idea.
But seriously, what was the question?
What's the question? Oh my god! Just
how hard is it to play wearing rubber gloves?
Right. Well, I've done it once. It was freaky. It was yeah, it was in the 90s, and anyway, Vietnam.
So, maybe just a closing tip for all the up and coming musos. What's your one word of advice? Well, one sentence of advice.
Practice.
Practice. Cool.
Just
and
spend time. If you're into cover songs, then learn as many cover songs. If you're into technique, then get your metronome out. Make sure that you got good rhythm and you're playing everything to a nice rhythm, and keep it clocked in. And that's going to make you feel safe when you go to a bandstand, when you're working with good musicians, if it feels like the metronome. So spend time on your instrument and make it feel so comfortable that you're not stressing out when you go to a bandstand.
Yeah.
Cool. And Toddy?
For me, I'd say give your phone the most amount of reasons to ring, which means don't try and box yourself in. It's
lots of chicks, man. Lots of chicks.
Play rock or a play swing or a play shuffle. Get a really good idea. Hang on a minute. It's all falling out of my ears.
Yeah.
Get a great shuffle under your belt. Get a great swing under your belt. Know how to play a rock groove properly.
Yep.
Learn to read. learn to adapt. Right. My phone rings lots because I get reading gigs. I get pick gigs. Scotty's phone rings a lot because he's got a studio.
And
Aaron,
he's good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So in order to actually become in order to make money out of this business and just out of the music business, you've got to be able to do all of those things. Give the phone the amount, as many reasons to ring as you possibly can.
Yep. And in closing off there, Scotty, any just one tip?
If that work with, try and find people that are better than you, and try and if you can, possibly go and work with them.
Great idea.
That's a good idea.
Always, just in general, go and play with other people.
Yeah.
Right.
As many other people as you possibly can.
Right.
You will always learn, and you will always learn. And if you can, if you're at a reasonable level, go and teach other people, because you learn more from teaching than you learn a lot about. You learn a lot about yourself, but you also learn from your students.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just interact with other people, I think, and but interact in a good way, hopefully.
And if I think that's great, but I just want to say thanks. And if everyone wants to leave their socials, do you have any socials there, Azza?
A what?
No, a social connection website, Facebook page.
What's your online presence, man?
Yeah. Right. My phone number is 04.
No.
0403.
Yeah. On Facebook, it's Aaron Saxon Music. That's all I got. I'm not a Twitty guy.
Cool.
But yeah, Aaron Saxon Music.
And Toddy?
HUBDIT.com. Get involved.
Cool. Excellent. And Scott?
www.recordingroom.com.au.
Awesome. And mine is Doug Jong Music. And also don't subscribe. Actually subscribe on YouTube. I need some friends. But thanks again for your time, guys. If you stay there, and I'll hit end broadcast in a sec, but just stay online. We'll see you all again next time. Oh.